Sometimes the scariest thing isn't what you see, but what you don't see, standing right there, staring at you from the darkness. In today's video, you'll hear 3 true stories told by people who came face to face with something they couldn't explain. A shadow standing in your house, a masked man hunting college students in the middle of the night, and a stranger who knew every detail about my girlfriend's family, even though they had never met. Put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and prepare yourself for what you're about to hear. Story 1. I saw someone standing inside my house, but no one lives here. This happened one summer a few years ago when I was still living with my parents in my childhood home. I was 17, a good kid, well-behaved, rarely gave them any trouble. My parents were strict, the kind who almost never left overnight. But strangely, that weekend, they told me they'd be gone for 3 days. That had never happened before. In my head, I had only one thought: golden opportunity. I invited MJ, my girlfriend at the time, over, just the 2 of us. No interruptions. Perfect. MJ had this mischievous, magnetic personality. She knew how to turn any moment into something risky. When she saw the pool in the backyard glowing under the lights, she gave me that devilish grin and said, "We should skinny dip." I said no. The neighbors were way too close. But she begged, giggled like it was inevitable. Eventually, I gave in. And I'll admit, it was romantic. Warm water, cool air, and the soft light from the living room made the house glow like a dollhouse. We swam in silence. It felt like the whole world had vanished. But that feeling didn't last. When I glanced toward the house through the glass door, my heart stopped. Someone was standing in the living room. A tall, thin shadow, motionless, pitch black. And it looked like it was staring straight at us. I couldn't make out the details, except for how it stood. Too still, too calm, like it had been there for a long time. I didn't say anything. I just whispered to MJ that we had to get out of the pool, now. She saw the seriousness in my eyes and nodded. I led her into the pool shed, locked the door, and told her, "Don't open it. Don't make a sound. Wait for me." I grabbed a kitchen knife from the rack, opened the back door, and stepped into the house. Strangely, the door was still locked. No signs of forced entry. But then I noticed someone had been there. A family photo, face down. A coffee mug, still warm. And in the center of the dining table, a strange dagger stabbed deep into the wood, like a warning, without words. I searched every corner. No one. All the windows were locked, every lock untouched. I called the cops. They checked everything. No footprints, no signs of break-in. They said I was just anxious, maybe even hallucinating. That night, MJ and I tried to sleep in my room. We locked every door, blocked the handle with a dresser. I placed the knife on the nightstand. Around 4 a.m., I woke up to the sound of footsteps above us, creaking wood, step by step, slow, deliberate. I sat up, gripping the knife. My heart thudded in my chest. Then, the footsteps stopped, and I heard the front door open. I rushed to the hallway. The door was wide open. Cold wind swept in. Curtains fluttered. No one was there. I didn't call the cops again. I knew they wouldn't help. But the next morning, I found something that made my blood run cold. All the knives in the kitchen were gone. The chef's knife, paring knife, meat slicer, every single one. Nothing valuable was taken, just some loose change, a couple old watches. But the knives, the only things that could hurt someone, all vanished. And on my pillow, someone had left a single knife, buried deep into the foam, its point aimed straight toward where I slept. No note, no sound. I still don't know how he got in, or how long he had been standing there before I saw him. But there's one thing I do know. He'll be back when I least expect it. Story 2. The dorm hallway and the masked man who never left. I was a sophomore at Rowan University, a pretty chill school in New Jersey. Every April, the school holds this big event called Holly Bash, kind of like a mini Coachella for students, with live music, food trucks, games, and a lot of booze. That year, I stayed out late, wandering around with friends until nearly 3 a.m. The vibe was light, no danger, no reason to be on guard. What I didn't know was that around 12:30 that night, a group of masked people had been spotted riding bikes around campus, knocking on dorm doors and lurking outside Chestnut Hall, the building I was walking back to. I didn't read the alerts. I just wanted to get to my room and sleep. I swiped into the first floor lobby. Dim yellow lights. Everything was unusually quiet. I had just reached the stairwell when I saw him. Someone was sitting in the lounge. Black jacket. Face completely covered by a black ski mask. Not moving, not speaking. Just tapping his fingers on his knees. Slowly. Deliberately. I froze. I had no idea who he was, or why he was sitting there, alone, in the middle of the night, wearing a mask like that. He didn't say a word. Then suddenly, like a spring being released, he stood up, snapped fully upright, and turned to face me. I didn't wait. I ran straight into the nearest bathroom, slammed the door, locked it, and leaned against the wall. My heart was pounding out of my chest. After about a minute, I heard footsteps, brushing lightly past the bathroom door. Then silence. I stayed in there for almost 10 minutes, frozen. Finally, I cracked the door open and peeked out. The hallway was empty. I figured he was gone, but I was wrong. I walked toward the stairs, and when I glanced back at the lounge, he was still sitting there, as if he had never moved. But this time, his bike was propped right up by the exit door, and one of the chairs was wedged between the door frame and the wall, like it was meant to block someone from getting out. I pulled the pepper spray from my keychain and held it out in front of me. No threats, no words. He didn't react, didn't blink, didn't move. Like fear itself was what he was waiting for. I slipped along the wall, keeping my eyes ahead, not looking back. And when I pushed the door open, I ran. I don't know how far I went. I just know. I didn't want to look over my shoulder. I had just reached Magnolia Street when I heard the sound of bike wheels behind me. 3 more people, all wearing masks, were riding slowly next to me. They didn't touch me, but they whistled. They giggled. One of them was twirling something in his hand. It looked like a pistol. I pretended not to see, not to hear, but I could feel it. They were barely an arm's length away. Then one of them whispered, "We got in, and you didn't lock your door, did you?" I sprinted to my friend's house, texted him, ran inside. He let me in. When I looked back out the door, they were gone. I didn't call the police. I wasn't hurt, but I know what happened. I was being hunted. The next morning, when I woke up, I found a note slipped under my dorm door. One line, sloppily written, "We know which rooms have weak hearts." I never slept peacefully in that dorm again. Story 3. He knew my girlfriend's parents' names, and no one knows who he was. This happened 2 summers ago. At the time, I was dating a girl named Amanda. Amanda was a hard person to figure out. She grew up rich, in a big 3-story house in a gated neighborhood where the lawns looked like chessboards and security cameras were considered overkill because everyone knows everyone. Her family was weird. They treated each other more like business partners than relatives. Cold, polite, but not warm. Maybe that's why Amanda always broke the rules. That night, Amanda was hosting a summer send-off party for her co-workers from the camp she worked at. The house was completely empty. Her parents were away on business. I didn't think much of it. just felt a little annoyed that this guy named Pete, one of her co-workers, kept hovering around her all night. He was loud, overconfident, and clearly didn't care that Amanda had a boyfriend. I didn't want to start a fight, so I chose a different approach. I got Pete drunk. Real smooth, real subtle. He drank faster than I expected. By midnight, he had passed out cold in the basement. I thought I'd won, but I was wrong. My little game was just the start of something I never saw coming. I stepped out to the front yard for air, cool breeze, quiet night. I leaned against Amanda's car, looking up at the sky. And that's when I saw him, a man, standing at the edge of the lawn near the fence. His shadow stretched under the street light, but he didn't move, didn't speak, just stared at the house. I walked toward him, calm but alert. "Need help with something?" I asked, firm but polite. He took a few steps forward, then asked, "Are Amanda's parents home?" That question froze me. He didn't just know Amanda, he knew her parents, and the way he said it, like he knew them personally. I stammered, "Yeah, they're inside." He looked at me, smiled, cold, nodded once. "Good." Then he turned around and disappeared down the dark street. No car, no sound, like he was never there. I went back inside, I'll see you might, trying not to panic, but something in my gut felt off. Then, the doorbell rang. A drunk girl from the party, clueless, said, "Some guy said he's a friend of Amanda's dad. He's here to return something, so I let him in." I felt dizzy. I ran upstairs to Amanda's parents' room. Drawers, ransacked. Jewelry, gone. Closet, a mess. Before I could react, I caught a glimpse of movement in the mirror on the closet door, like someone had just slid behind me. I spun around. He was already there. He tackled me, hard. I hit the floor. He pinned me down, ripping my shirt, like he was looking for something. An item, a mark. I don't know. I fought back. With everything I had, I kicked him off me. He stumbled, then leapt out the second-story window, rolled across the roof, and vanished into the dark. I stood up, trembling, looked out. Nothing. Just a silent yard. Cops came. Party ended. No arrests, no cameras, no clear witnesses. Amanda? Didn't care. She called her parents like nothing happened. The next morning, while cleaning the room, I found something. A name tag from the summer camp Amanda worked at. He wasn't a stranger. He'd been in her life, maybe even in that house. That's when it hit me. I'd ignored the warning signs, not because I didn't see them, but because I didn't want to believe them. The scariest things aren't blood, knives, or screams. It's when no one believes you, even when you know something isn't right. Maybe you felt it too. A night you couldn't sleep. A feeling someone was watching you from behind the curtain. If you have, share your story in the comments. I'm reading them, and maybe your story will be the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you never miss a scary story. And if you're listening to this at night, check your front door, turn off the lights, and pray no one is standing on the other side of the window. Good night, if you dare.